G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we got this windswept Melaleuca. It's not going to be a windswept for much longer. Poor little thing's in for the ride of its life today. So I've been working on this for a few years. It's a little Melaleuca claret tops, and I've been working on trying to get that windswept style to it, but I've come to the conclusion that's not the right species for this type of tree. It's such a vigorous grower that you can wire these branches in that windswept style, and by the time you look at the tree 2 weeks later, it looks like this. So it's just going to take a phenomenal amount of work to try and keep it looking like a windswept. I think I would be much better off with a slower growing species that's just not going to just take off on this vertical growth. Yeah, like you've seen on some of my other Melaleucas, they just don't stop. They're relentless. So yeah, windswept's probably not the style for this tree. So it's going to change today. I'll change it into some sort of an upright style. I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm going to downsize the pot a bit. Ultimately, I think for the size of the trunk on this tree, I think a little pot like this probably will work okay, but I think that's probably too much of a jump down to do today. So I've got this other little cheapy pot that's not quite as small as that. Still a fair bit of a jump down, but I think it'll go all right in that pot. But ultimately, I think the color of this probably suits the color of the new growth quite well. So we're going to aim for something like that eventually, but that'll be next year sometime, probably. So initially we'll just get it out of the pot, have a look at it, see what can be kept, see what's not worth keeping, and just try and figure something out for a new style for it. Something a bit more upright. Does not want to let go of the pot. There we go. Righto. I think I will try and save. a lot of this moss to be used again. It has been growing okay on this tree. It's good to see the roots of the tree are right up near the surface underneath the moss, which is pretty good. It's one of the benefits of actually having a soil covering now that I never did for a while. Righto. Trouble we have is all our branches are all going one way now, apart from some of these new ones. So to find all of a sudden a new direction, it's going to be a little bit difficult. I would envisage that a lot of these long ones are either going to have to be wired in a totally new direction or cut off. The good thing though is that some of them do have quite a bit of thickness. They do look like old mature branches, so if we cut it off here somewhere and let it shoot out, you'll get a fair bit of taper in those branches, which is good. Finding a front for the tree is going to be the challenge. Whoop. Branch selection number 1. Just snap that one off. So that's probably out for a selection. That's a pretty bad snap, and it's not going to survive like my tea tree branches. Anyway, probably not a bad thing. I do wonder though if that might not even be a bit of a front. We could probably cut that branch off, start utilising this as a branch. We'll get a little bit of taper into that. May even get rid of that whole piece there. There is a shoot coming up off this big branch at the back. There may even be some others there that can be utilised to continue this branch up as an apex, like as the main trunk. You would have to try and cut this one off and hope that it reshot out here so that you could continue that as the first branch and retain that thickness. If it doesn't reshoot, I'll probably leave this one here to take over from it, just until I get some shoots out of that one. That's always an option. Geez, we're going to lose a lot of tree. A lot of tree. Tell you what I'll do. I'll take this off and we'll have a look. So you'd probably lose this. What do we got? Just give me a sec. So you would probably lose that, and that. So that would become your second branch. Either this one or the one behind, if we can get it to reshoot, would be the first branch. And then this would have to regrow as the apex, which is going to take time, considerable amount of time. But I think it's all bent too far back to do it any other way. The only other thing we could do is just leave some of this for now, because it will reshoot off that wood. I don't want it up there. And just see what it does. This I think has to go. We'll see where it shoots in there. Pretty confident it will shoot somewhere. And the top of the tree. We could try and wire it up. We might try and wire it up. At worst, I'll snap it and I'll cut it off anyway, which is what I was going to do. So really don't want to damage that first shoot there, because that's our fallback. Even though you've seen how these things shoot, I shouldn't really be too concerned. Let's see what's going to happen. Let me try and bring that forward. Once we stand that tree up, it's probably not too bad. Can we... Ooh, there's a crack. There's a crack. There's a crack. Trying to put a bit of movement back the other way into it. That's all right. Like I said, if it breaks, it was only going to get cut off anyway, so I reckon I'm going to trim this one back. So that it lets some light into this one, which will promote it to shoot, which I think it'll shoot anyway. Plus it can put some some outward growth into that. I think we'll leave that for now. We'll get some of this soil off the roots and get it into its new pot, and we will be done. Poor little windswept tree is no longer. Be interesting to actually have a look back, see how long ago I put it in this pot. I think it has been in here for a little while. Would be over a year, I think, but I can't remember exactly. And it's grown well. I have no issues with how well it's grown. It's just it grows too fast for that style of tree, unfortunately. Some quite big roots in here. We may have to cut some of them back. It's actually grown some quite long roots, which I think can all probably go. Probably leave some of these where they're big close to where they're big close to the trunk, because they may become a feature in time. Yeah, the trunk definitely splits into all the main roots there. I don't know if we really need to. We might lift that just above the surface maybe, to make a little bit of a feature out of it. We won't go too far. That root there probably needs to come off. There we go. Give me a sec, I'll clean this shit up and I'll be back. Alright, that's the front of our tree and our little pot. I think it can stay fairly upright in the pot. Maybe just lift it up a little. There'll be plenty of room in that pot for growth. Righto. That one there just looks weird. I'm going to chop it off. Probably fairly central in the pot there, I think, but it still looks okay because it's not a very symmetrical tree. If I move it over the other side to get it off center, I think it looks too weighty on that side for now. I think we'll come back this way, somewhere around that sort of height. A little bit of soil in it, and then we'll tighten up the tie down wires, try and tie him into position. I want to tie it in too tight, but it needs to be tight enough that it's not going to move around everywhere. That's probably about all that's going to get in there. It does have a little bit of a lean that I don't like, but we can work on that in the future. Righto, first steps towards moving away from that windswept style for this poor little tree. Like I said, it's leaning a little bit in the pot. Didn't really want to come and stand the right way for me. Don't want to put too much pressure on those tie-in wires. So I'll let it recover as it is. We can revisit it. Probably February, March. We'll probably come and have another look at it. I reckon by then it would have taken off and be covered in foliage again. We still have this little branch here. If we decide we don't want to use this as the main trunk line, or we can choose something shooting off the side here. We have plenty of options. Again, it's going to take a bit of work because we spent so much time trying to style it so it was all leaning over, and now we're trying to stand it up again. So it's going to look awkward and weird for a while, but it's too nice of a tree to just throw away. Always grows really well. Always been happy with the growth that it's put on and how easy it is to work with. So yeah, hopefully again at some point in the future it'll be another nice little tree. Little Melaleuca, no longer windswept. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.